All right, folks. Okay, my volume's good. Not on mute. Let me make sure I'm live. I still don't trust it. This is my second attempt. And my first attempt didn't go very well. Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm live. Let me make sure the volume's okay. Okay, so I'm not blowing everyone's eardrums out. All right, okay. So my son is watching Simple Silly Songs, which is a channel on YouTube. That they play nursery rhymes. Oops. So I'm hoping that'll keep him from crawling all over me. That's my goal. No crawling. So I usually post my floss tube update on Mondays, or at least that's my goal. I'm not very good at consistency. It's always my effort to be consistent. I really want to, because I like knowing when when the people I watch are going to be posting. I like to know when they're posting. So I try to be consistent, but unfortunately, it's dark, and I'd rather do it in the light of day. I just can catch things better in the sunlight. I don't have any type of fancy lighting. Like, I know a lot of people use those ring lights, and I think eventually I might get one. A ring light. But there's whipped cream on my fingers. Don't ask questions. Just feeding chocolate pie to the babe. I'm trying to find a good way to do this. This frame, oh, sorry. I will figure this out. This frame is so bulky. And the biggest problem is trying to find a way to position myself that I can use it. I don't have a stand. I just don't know if there's a stand out there that would work in a bed. Like, I'd have to have it beside me. Of course, I haven't made any real effort to look or watch any videos about it or do any type of research. But I don't really need it usually. It's just really hard with these larger frames. Let me try this way. Ugh. And the only reason I'm using this frame is because I want to see the whole thing at once to make sure that my rows look good and everything's even. So I guarantee you, as soon as I'm done with this border, I'm taking it out of this frame. This is a 17 by 17 inch frame. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I hate it. I'm trying to think of the angle I want to put my X's here. It's really wobbly. I did a video about that before. How these frames from Hobby Lobby are really loose and wobbly. And then someone had suggested to me in the comments to put masking tape on it. And that actually worked out really well. I only did the one side. Goodness gracious, what am I doing here? Ugh, this is wrong. Look at this. Okay. I'm having a really hard time. See, look at this here. Oops. See how that jumps up? I'm about to frog that whole thing. Frogging time. Anyway, I'll get it right. Now I have good lighting. And I'm in my frame. I'm hoping to make decent progress. I actually, ran out of this color, which is 796. Yeah. And I got some more today, but I want to use up, I'm almost out of 798. So on my bobbin, this is all I have left, which may or may not be enough to finish this. I don't know. But I wanted to use it all up before I started the new ones. I think I put this in backwards. Ugh, I hate when things don't work out. I've had to frog this a lot, actually, just this strip here. And I think it's because of poor lighting. I can't, I have good lighting now, but I was trying to do this downstairs and my lighting is less than optimal in the living room. Even now, I'm using like a lamp I got from IKEA, and it's not designed the best or built the best, so it's like I'm using strings to kind of keep it in place because it keeps wanting to fall back and rest on its back hinge instead of staying pointed forward. Okay, I think I almost got it. Yeah, because this is right here. I think that's where my faux pas is. So let's see if I can fix this. Okay. So here, oh, I think I got it. I need to, that excess is going to get in my way. I have these little clips that I got. We have a store that sells almost expired products, and they have a craft section of all things. And I got these nice little clips there, which I use often. I'm just clipping this out of the way so I don't accidentally run my thread through it. Okay. All right, now we are in business. I want to try and get this done. So anyway, yeah, my original intention is usually to post a new video on Mondays, but I wanted to finish this border before I posted a video because I'm relatively almost done. I just have obviously this section here and then a little bit of the outer line down in this corner, but all of this is done, you know, and then up here. So most of this part's done here. I just have to do here and there, and that's it. So yeah, so I'm almost done with this, and I wanted to feature in my next floss tube video. So I'm just gonna live stream tonight and then do the floss tube tomorrow. I was gonna do it backwards. I was gonna live stream on Tuesday, and maybe I'll switch that next week, but I keep you on your toes, I suppose. That's what I'm here for. Unpredictability. If you're looking for a routine, well, I promise it. Delivering is not always the situation that comes through, but I do promise routine, at least try to have a routine. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about my fear of horror movies, and I'm sure you're thinking, well, duh, it's a horror movie. So of course you'd be afraid of them. Horror movies are scary by nature. But the thing is, I am fascinated by horror movies. Like, I really like hearing about horror movies. Because I feel like they're one of the last frontiers of independent thought when it comes to filmmaking. If you look at a lot of stuff that comes out right now, like action movies, for example, the Marvel movies that come out, you can pretty much predict what's going to happen in the story. As you're watching it, you can think, well, this person's probably going to die, or they're going to have, in the action movies, they always have a moment of despair. It never fails. Whereas everyone is being beaten by bad guys, it looks bleak, things are going to go badly, everyone is going to die, it's all looking that way. And then all of a sudden, they rally together and pull through and triumph. So that, wait a minute. Yeah, so that seems to happen a lot in horror movies. And, no, I'm sorry, in action movies. That happens a lot in action movies. So you always know it's going to happen. And you're waiting for, it's like, okay, we can't get to the end or find out the actual outcome until we go through the moment of despair, which makes it less satisfying, I think, because you're always expecting it. So I think Frozen, that Disney movie Frozen, was so popular because in the end, it was sisterly love. Spoilers. I'm sorry if there's a human in the world that has not seen Frozen yet. I'm sorry. But it's sisterly love that saves the day, as opposed to the normal Prince Charming kiss type situation, which I thought was really kind of cool at the time. That they kind of thought outside of the box and made it unique as far as a Princess Disney movie. I feel like they could do that with action movies, that they just choose not to, because honestly, people don't go. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about the wiggling. Okay, people don't go to an action movie for the plot, honestly. I mean, I don't go in there thinking, I hope there's going to be riveting storytelling and astounding acting. I mean, some of the acting in these action movies. But it's not for that. It's more for, you go for the effects and the wild fight scenes and the explosions. It's a visual eye candy, action movies. And so because of that, because they know they're going to rake in the money, they have enormous budgets that they can work with. But when you look at horror movies, they have a lot more limited budgeting, because they're doing a lot of risky stuff. They're doing things that, they're kind of pressing the threshold of what is faux pas and what is taboo and what can be acceptable. So for all they know, they're going to release something that is super offensive to a bunch of people and therefore does not bring in the crowds that they want to achieve. So they don't often put forward the money for horror movies. And because of that, I feel like horror... sorry about the wiggling. I feel like horror movie creators have to be a lot more innovative as far as what they do with plot lines, what they do with effects, what they do with makeup, because they don't have the big budgets to go with it. And that being said, I feel like also a lot of small budget horror movies were very successful, so I'm sure these companies don't feel like they need to give them big budgets. But anyway, because of that, they have to really think about how they spend their money and how they want the message to come across. They really have to push their actors to often carry the movie a lot more than you would see in an action movie, where actors don't carry the movie. You can have to admit actors do not carry the movie. In an action film, it's the effects that do. But in a horror film, you need to have the actors really kind of bring it forward, especially if you have like a psychological thriller or something like that, where we're taking a journey through the inside of someone's insanity. Those are the ones that really require an astounding amount of acting. So I'm fascinated by all that. I'm fascinated by sorry, that's Lincoln. He's climbing up. I'm fascinated by the unique plots and unique subject matter that horror movies introduce. I feel like they introduce a lot more, or they're at liberty to introduce a lot more than a lot of other movies are able to, because people expect them to be more offensive because of the genre that they are. They expect them to be disturbing and offensive, so they can get away with a lot more. So I like to watch, or I like to hear about them, but watching them is another issue, because they're scary. I mean, I don't like the music. Sorry, my son is over here. Let me see if I can angle this better. Okay. I don't like the music. I don't like gore. I really don't like the Saw movies and stuff, or disturbing imagery. I cannot stand. Although I don't mind hearing about it, I just can't stand watching it. It kind of lingers with me. I have accidentally watched a few horror movies. Like 28 Days Later comes to mind, where it wasn't one that I thought would be scary, and then ended up being very scary. And it like lingered, like I'd have nightmares for days on end, because the imagery was too compelling and kind of sucked me in. I did not like it at all. So I have a hard time watching, oh gosh, Lincoln. I have a hard time watching horror movies for that reason. So, but I'm interested in the plot. So you get my point. I'm getting long-winded, but long story short is, I want to watch horror movies, but I can't. So I found a way around it, though, and this is something that's kind of been my go-to solution for a long time. It used to be, I had a coworker. I used to work at an auto auction. They would sell cars that got into accidents. They would sell them to like body shops and stuff. People that intended to rebuild them and then sell them off at a higher at a profit. So I worked at this auto auction, and there was a lady I worked with there who was completely unfazed by gore. I kind of envied her a little bit. She watched every horror movie out there. She's a huge horror movie fan. So, like some sick voyeur, I took fascination in her, living through her vicariously. So when she would come to work and when she would come to work and tell me that she's watched this movie or that movie, I'd ask her to just go through the entire plot with me, which she wasn't a huge fan of. I'm sure it got annoying when between each call and between each customer, I'd be like, okay, so then what happened? I remember she did that with the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, which it sounded a lot worse when she described it compared to the reality of it, which I'll get to in a minute. But she'd tell me about the plot, and I'd think about it. It would, like, the storyline would be compelling, and I'd think about what she's saying, about what happens and stuff, but it wouldn't give me nightmares because I didn't have the visuals to go with it. So that was the key. And I really appreciated that. So she got kind of sick of telling me. I think she stopped telling me every time she watched a movie because she got sick of telling me the entire plot. Because then I go back and ask questions. Well, why didn't they do this? Well, what happened when this happened? And I want to know every detail. And I'm sure when you're trying to explain the movie to somebody, you don't want to go into that much detail. So after a while, I stopped working there, and so I lost my go-to for horror movie details. And my husband watches them sometimes, and so I can find out details from him. But it had only been recently, and I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but it's only been recently that I discovered that this is a thing on YouTube. Now I wonder, is this too much thread to do this section? I guess we'll find out, because I'm going to do this section. My son will let me. And I'm kind of avoiding it, but he has a stinky diaper. I don't want to take a break and change his stinky diaper, so we're just going to ignore it for the time being. I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, and I might take a pause break after a little while. So, when I discovered this, well, first thing I discovered was that there are people that do movies reviews pertaining to. I started watching this guy called Steve Reviews, and Steve Reviews talks about like tragically, maybe I'll start down here to make sure it lines up. Okay. He talks about like, cartoons, tragic cartoons, or adult-themed cartoons like Watership Down, and the tragedy occurs in Land Before Time, and stuff like that. So I got into that, and then I thought, well, I wonder if there's horror movies on here, and boy, oh boy, do people talk about horror movies. So the two YouTubers I started watching, one is Ryan Hollinger. Ryan Hollinger doesn't do just horror movies, but he does a really good breakdown of certain horror movies that he thinks are good and compelling. So he goes into a finer detail of the artistry of the horror movie. Talks about the deeper meaning, because so many of these horror movies, there's a lot of interpretive imagery, interpretive plot points that you don't really quite understand what's going on, but that's, it opens the doorway for discussion. So I like to watch people tell me what I'm supposed to be thinking about these horror movies, because sometimes it's not so easy to figure them out. And then the other guy I watch is Found Flicks. Found Flicks is more generalized. He doesn't go into a deeper discussion, but instead just kind of reviews the plot points about what happens, like basically breaks down the entire movie, shows a couple images so you get a sense of what everyone looks like and what they're seeing, and then he'll maybe do his interpretation of the endings. So that's the one I watch a lot. I really like Found Flicks, and I watch a lot of his horror synopsis breakdowns, which bores my husband to death, so I can only really watch it at times like this. When he's cooking, that's kind of like my golden hour where I can watch Floss Tube, Found Flicks, reality shows. He cannot stand, like, I like to watch 90 Day Fiancé. I mean, who doesn't like to watch 90 Day Fiancé? That's a whole encapsulated hour of beautiful, glorious drama and pettiness. You just can't get enough of it. And like 600 Pound Life, like those trashy, what he calls trash TV, I suppose that's what it is, like those TLC shows. I like to watch those sometimes, and then I like to watch my horror movie synopsis and I like to watch FlossTube. So those are the things I watch when he's not around. When he's with me, we try to find mutual stuff. A lot of times when there's nothing that we can agree on, we turn to Food Network. Competition cooking shows are often what we'll put on. Sometimes he'll like to watch things about his video games that I cannot. Oh, he plays some really dull video games, and what's even more dull is watching other people play the same dull video games. These strategy games, particularly right now, he's playing Civilization 6, which he keeps returning to because they keep bringing out new expansions, so it never gets old, which is great for him, but not so great for yours truly, who has to endure his watching or his playing it and then watching these YouTubers discuss it. But that's okay, because if all else fails, because the other thing he watches sometimes is sermons, and I have to be in the right mood. Like, if it's not a Sunday, I don't know. Sitting through a sermon sometimes is a little much when I'm trying to relax in the evening. So I might, when all else fails, I might just plug in my headphones and put something on my phone. I use, not so much with this pattern, but I use Pattern Keeper a lot. Let me get a drink. This is my drink of choice. Schweppes Zero Sugar. I used to drink Schweppes Diet Ginger Ale, but they got rid of the Diet Ginger Ale and they came out with the Zero Sugar. It is not the same, but it's better than nothing. And honestly, I like the Zero Sugar as opposed to the sugar Schweppes, because the sugar Schweppes go flat faster. Believe it or not, the sugar content makes them go flat faster. My favorite snacks of choice during my FlossTube time is I love these popcorners, kettle corn. Oh, I cannot get enough of these things. They're like candy. So I eat those a lot. And then speaking of candy, if I need a blast of sugar in my mouth, because I love my sugar, I'll often pop a mouthful of Nerds. So those are my go-to snacks. And then if I want a salty, savory, something that isn't sweet, I'll take a bite of string cheese. Polly-O is my favorite string cheese. This Gull Bonnie is like a 6 out of 10. Polly-O is 10 out of 10 string cheese. It's like firm. This Gull Bonnie is a little soft. And yes, I have gotten to a point with string cheese that I do not string it anymore. I just eat it like a cheese stick, which drives my son crazy. But I eat upwards to 4 cheese sticks a day because they're my favorite non-sweet snack. So when you get to that point that you're consuming 4 cheese sticks a day, you stop pulling them apart and stringing them. Okay, I didn't want to talk with my mouth full. So I have to keep going back out and running my floss because I'm stitching sideways. Because it's actually, this is the top, but because of that's not in the camera, I have to stitch it sideways. So I get confused sometimes that I need to have it, it's almost backwards. Like I want to put this as my top stitch. My voice keeps cracking. Gosh, I want to put this as my top stitch, but that should be the bottom stitch when you put it this way, you know. So if you notice me start a stitch and then restart it, that is why, because it goes against, see, even now I wanted to do that, but that would be backwards. This goes against what I believe in. Oh, gosh, okay. Yeah, my hope is to get this completely done tonight. We occasionally get subscriptions to different TV channels, and right now we have a subscription to Amazon Prime because we wanted to watch Downton Abbey. We just finished that. So I am going to be canceling Amazon Prime shortly. I just like to linger just a little longer, like maybe an extra month, just to make sure that there's nothing else, so we don't restart it again right away. I just want to make sure there's nothing else to watch. But our intent is to cancel Amazon Prime, cancel HBO Max, because we're done with that one too. And we just signed up for CBS All Access. So I'm a big Star Trek fan. I never got into Discovery because I don't have television anymore, so I didn't have it when Discovery came out. I liked the Orville, which I think is more akin to the Star Trek flavor, in my opinion, than the first 2 episodes of Discovery, which is all I watched of it. I just didn't feel Star Trek vibes from that, not Next Generation. I do feel them from Picard, though. That's the CBS All Access only Star Trek. So that's the one that just came out on CBS. Wait, I did this backwards. Gosh, this is messing me up. I'll just go. Yeah. Okay, I'll just go here. Okay, Picard's the only one. It's the one that came out on CBS All Access only. It wasn't on CBS television. And I watched a couple episodes of that. I don't know if I'm going to continue it, but it's an option for now, because right now what we're doing is we're watching Under the Dome. We watched The Stand, which is also on CBS All Access, and that was amazingly done. It was very much in tune with the book. I really liked it. I liked where they went with it. It was good. It was good stuff. The Stand was good stuff. Now, though, we're watching Under the Dome, which is also Stephen King, and they went completely off. Wait, this is too small. They went completely off base with the plot. It no longer matches what was in the book, which is fine. I get it, because they wanted to have an ongoing series, and the book very quickly goes downhill to the point that you can't really recover from it. So there was no way to stretch that out over different seasons. But it has gotten so weird now. I'm on season 3, and it's the last season aired. I don't know if they made any more after that. I wouldn't be surprised if it got canceled, because it's just so weird. They're doing some weird body snatcher plot line. But on the other hand, even though it's so frustrating to me, and just like everyone's short-term memory in it, like they make stupid decisions because they act in the moment and don't retain any knowledge from what they discovered in previous episodes. So that, I think, is poor writing. Like, they just either have short-term memory loss, or they're all just morons, or whatever virus situation is in the air is just messing with them. I mean, we could theorize night and day, but whatever the situation, they are making stupid decisions. And so I get so frustrated. I'm just like yelling at the television. Hopefully or thankfully, I should say, my husband yells at the television too, so at least he's not getting annoyed with my frustration. Um, but I don't know if I'd like if it was a 9-season series. I don't know if I'd stick with it. But we're already in season 3. Season 2 was okay. It started to show some improvements, so we thought maybe we'll just stick around and see what happens. Season 3, I mean, at what point have they jumped the shark? I don't know. It could have been long before season 3, but it has definitely been jumped in season 3. So at this point, we're just trying to get through it to find out where it ends. To see if they actually get out at the end or if it's left ambiguous and they're just left to rot in there for all eternity. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. We've been watching that, and I've been stitching in the evening. I was really adamantly focused on trying to get this border done. It's really time consuming, but this is the linen and threads stitch along for 2019, and I think I have to thank Ginger Gerald Stitcher because I did not know that they were taking these stitch along out of their free section and putting it for sale. And when I saw that he made mention of it, I quick ran in and downloaded all the PDF files for every month before it got pulled. I don't mind paying for it, and I might even go back and contribute a donation. It was always my intent when I found it that I would pay for it, so it was kind of an added bonus that it was free. And now that it's no longer free, I don't really need to hold money from them, so I'll probably do a donation. Let's see, 37 minutes. Okay. Well, maybe I'll stop at 40 minutes. And watch some floss tube of my own. Eat a bite of my string cheese. I don't know, maybe in a live stream in the future, I can talk about all the YouTube channels I watch. Floss tube channels. I'm sure you guys aren't that interested. In every YouTube channel I watch a large mix of things. But, oh, that's backwards. See, this is messing me up being on the side. Anyway, I might do a video down the road in a different stitch along talking about the different floss tubers I watch. I don't know. Do you guys like this? I like the live stream aspect. It just allows everyone to have the opportunity to comment if they want to, and then I can respond to that. I have the chat up and open. I'm checking it periodically, so if anyone would want to make a comment or have a question, that I'd be here to respond to it. But I also like to do the stitch alongs because I seem to always have a ton to talk about. I am of no shortage of words, and I'd rather not make hour-long whip videos where I'm just rambling on. I'd rather have that be a separate thing and torture all of you that came to a live stream to see if there was anything exciting going on and getting roped into something that you didn't know you were going to get roped into, involving horror movies and whatnot. I'm almost to the end here, and I just have the corner to do. Like, I was able to watch Australia. My goodness. Let me think. What time is it in Australia? It's probably, like, I assume that you're 12 hours ahead of me, maybe. Like it's 8 in the morning the next day, perhaps, because it is 7:30 here. So I am on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, and you're also in a different hemisphere, so it's summer there, right? I went to South Africa before, and 11:20. Okay, 11:20 on a Tuesday. Still Monday here. So I went to South Africa before in the Southern Hemisphere, and that was weird. Just to be in the warm weather in the middle of winter. Not that I complained. It was rather nice. And my ex-husband, we're we're still friends. We're still good friends. But he's gone to Australia. Went to Wales, North Wales or New Wales, Wales something. For his company has a building there. But he was kind of disappointed at it's certainly Wales is not the outback experience. So he's gone down there a few times, and I think the last time he went probably the New South Wales. There you go. Thank you. I know that's like a big developed area. And he always dreamed of going to Australia until he went to Australia and saw that Australia was not, the crocodile Dundee experience. But this last time he went, he did get involved with a family that would take him in that lived into like the rough area, the Aborigine and type the bush. Yeah, that's what it is. They lived in the bush. So that he got to go and actually see the Australia that all us foreign northerners imagine it to be. I don't think he saw any boomerangs flying though or anything like that, but so he finally got the experience of seeing Australia. I have not ever been. It's very hard to sit through a 24-hour flight. I did that a couple times with South Africa, and especially when there's a layover. I don't know if there's a layover to fuel to go to Australia. It probably would be for us in Pennsylvania because we go to California and then from California to Australia. But with South Africa, we left from Dulles, is in Virginia. That's the international airport closest to me. So we'd leave from there. It's close to Washington, D.C. And we would, we would go to Sol Island. I think it's SOL or SAL. It's right off the coast of Australia, off the coast of Africa. And so they would have to refuel the plane before we could get down to the southern tip of Africa where South Africa is. So we would have to fuel there, but so they would park the plane and then these guys would come on. These African militant types, which my son's coming. Sorry for the shaking. The African militant types would come on the plane with their big machine guns. They have them strapped across their chest, I think to look intimidating. And then they would just kind of walk back the hall and walk out again. I don't know exactly what they were looking for. I don't know what suspicious paraphernalia you would encounter just by walking back the hall of the plane and out again. But they did that every time. As I went to South Africa, I think 3 times. And it's like a tattoo, getting a tattoo. Every time I went, I thought, why the heck am I doing this again? Because it's painful and unpleasant having to fly there. But the biggest problem, the biggest thing I had an issue with, so after the African militants would do their little run and leave, then the plane would refuel. Well, we had to sit in the plane. We are not allowed to exit. We had to sit in the plane for 2 hours. And and the air's turned off, like the over cabin air that turns on when you're in the flight is turned off, so it gets really stuffy. It always smells like a bunch of farts. it just is, it's just horrible. And I get so claustrophobic. Like, I just want to, I just think, please, can I just give someone $50, to let me just go stand on the tarmac, just to breathe air. This is all messed up. I have to fix it. So that is the worst. That is the pits. And those long flights, you always have a layover to fuel like that. And I don't know if they do that with Australia, but I couldn't. I don't know. I mean, I get through it. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor of the horrible layover, but it's never fun. So that's always what I look at, is the flight when I'm going somewhere. Last time I went abroad was in Iceland, which, if you've not been, I highly recommend, especially if you have any type of outdoorsiness in you. Oh, to LA. Okay. So that's not so bad, because we can get off the plane at LA. So Pennsylvania, it's a 6-hour flight to LA. And then from there, we could get off the plane. I would probably do a 2-hour layover gladly before getting back on and going to Australia, just to breathe. But yeah, it doesn't sound so bad when it's not a direct flight from where I'm at. It does seem like, I feel like there's a lot of presence on YouTube from Australia too. It seems like no matter the interest, there's a lot of YouTubers in Australia. It seems like they're all from Australia, LA, or Canada. There's a big drove of Canadian YouTubers, but whenever they're in the United States, they all kind of ship out to LA because of because of the collabing and stuff you can do out there. I think you grow your channel so much faster when you're in California. Although I would never go there, just because the cost of everything. But anyway, I digress. I mean, I have my heated blanket on, which is lovely in the winter. We just had another one. So we have, I think, probably a foot of snow on the ground already. And then we just got another 3 inches today to pile on top of it. And I'm running out of places to put the stuff. So is the neighboring lot. We have like an apartment place next to our house. And the bulldozing guy said, I will doze out your driveway if you just let me stack snow in your yard. Which I was fine with, because we don't have any type. We are going to have to invest in a snow blower of some sorts if we're going to have snows like this. Last year was a lot more mild. We only had to shovel the sidewalk once, but we have a large stretch of sidewalk because we're a corner property. So we have sidewalk on 2 sides of our house, and then my yard stretches back quite a ways. So I don't know the meter or yard, but it's probably about 200 feet of shoveling that needs to be done, which sucks when you're doing it for the 8th time for the season. I have to count this because this doesn't add up. Okay, there. I'm doing 2 over 2, which I think this is too big. I'm committed now, though, so I'm just going to run with it. But it's a lot bigger than I envisioned it would be when I started this lovely project. This is really big. I've seen other people do this project, and I'm sure they've done 1 over 1, and it's come out a lot smaller, which I think is nicer, but I'm making a tapestry anyway, so this is going to be, sorry for the bump. Oh, do you not get a lot of snow in Australia? I don't know how your winters are like, if they're mild. So Carol said she'd love living in the snow for a while. And I think I remember, okay, so we have some friends that came from South Africa and they don't get snow at all. Like, I guess the most mild in the winter they get is 60 degrees. So when we had a friend who never had been to the United States, never saw snow. And he came over here for a convention he had to go to, and um, we had him hole up at our house. Instead of staying at a hotel, he got to stay with us at our house. And so we picked him up at the airport, and the first thing he wanted to do was go see the snow. And it wasn't even that glorious. We didn't go to I mean, it was dark. It was nighttime when we picked him up, but we didn't go to any exciting place. We went to a parking lot. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess it doesn't snow in all places of Australia. I'm learning things today. But anyway, we took our fellow friend to a parking lot. We didn't take him anywhere exciting like a ski lodge or anything, because I mean, we don't even ski, but we took him to a parking lot. And the thing is, when there's a lot of snow, um, these parking lots dump it all at one spot, so to optimize the amount of parking that they're able to have. So instead of just plowing out each parking lot, they usually they get these big dump trucks in, and they just plow it on the top of itself until you have this giant snow mountain. So that was where we took him. We took him to, I think, to a Walmart, um, and introduced him to Snow Mountain. And of course, he climbed up it in a t-shirt because he didn't own a jacket. Um, so he climbed up it in his t-shirt. He said it was very refreshing. I think they're made of tougher stuff down in South Africa, and down there in Australia. You have a lot of wildlife to deal with. I imagine you have large insects and stuff. I'm sure you're made of a lot tougher material than me. Insects do not run rampant so much in Pennsylvania. Our spiders are not normally larger than a quarter, and like what, that big at most. And we don't have scorpions. We don't have very big. We have some rattler snakes, but not. We don't have a lot of snake options. And like our centipedes are only this big. South Africa has like these big black horrible centipedes, things with multiple legs. I naturally shiver when I see one. I cannot bear the thought of it crawling across my face, which is always where my mind goes. Like, what if that thing crawls across my face while I'm sleeping? Yeah. That's why I don't watch horror movies. I can't stand the thought of those scary things in my life. Plus, I don't know, I would like to believe the world is a lot more rosier than it is. And I know it's not as rosy as I want it to be, but gosh, would I like to believe it is. And I said, like, you go to the realm of floss tube, everyone is so kind, and there's no drama, unlike the makeup tutorial community or the mukbang community. Who knew that such places would attract such drama? But anyway, there's no drama, and everyone just gets along, and it's a great place to be inspired to do your craft and your art. And I wish that it could be that way in politics. Can you imagine if our political system, our media system, like if we had that sort of camaraderie and mutual partnership? Imagine the work we could accomplish in those fields with that sort of attitude. So I wish everything was like floss tube, but Anyway, I'm going to be signing off here shortly. I don't know how I can do. I'm just hitting this. I'm hitting my camera base because this corner. I'm stuck in a corner. I can't seem to. Maybe if I do it this way, put it on my leg. Now it's even more complicated because it's upside down. Oh no, I guess it isn't. Upside down is the same as right side up, so it won't be that difficult. Okay. I don't have to think of which way my stitch is going. I'm determined to get this border done. It's a lot of stitching for 1 month. This is the linen and thread stitch along from 2019. I think I might have mentioned that. I try to repeat myself, and then I forget if I've I try to say what it is every time I feature it, but then I forget, have I said this already this time, or am I thinking of the last time? I don't know. But linenandthreads.com, this is their stitch along. They actually just pulled it from their free section. It used to be free. Their 2021 is still there for free. I don't like that one at all. But I like the 2018 one, which they pulled, and now they're selling it. But honestly, they're only selling it for $15 for the PDF. And I would rather give them the money, especially since I got this one for free. So if I ever go back and do the 2018, I will have no problems paying for it. But I was worried that there would be a delay from the time they pulled it to the time they listed it for sale. So I quick ran in and downloaded the whole thing when it was still free. But the other months, like past, like March, April, May, anything past February are not that time consuming. I gotta count this again. See, I don't have any side rails. It's like bowling without the bumpers on. I have to line it up right because I don't have these straight rows up here, so I have to. I'm charting out on. I'm doing my maiden voyage on uncharted territory. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Stop, Lincoln. Do you see his foot? He's sabotaging his foot. Here, let me get in the frame. It's right. He's putting it right on my work. That's why I like half of my work has chocolate stains or smudges on it. He has no consideration for other people's property. So anyway, March on. Oh, I hit this again. Sorry. March on. I'm only doing like what's in each square. So I don't know where it starts, but it could be like March, April, May, June, so whatever's in that square, that's all I'm doing for that month. So that's not going to be too bad. But for January, this entire peacock was the January month. And now February, this entire border was February. So I'm just thinking, like, how anyone could get this all stitched in 1 month is crazy. I imagine the people that did this stitch along were freaking out by the end of February, thinking this is way too much more than I can handle for 1 month. But then after February, it dies off. And then I think the last 2 months, November, December, there's a very large amount of border that needs done. So I don't know. I might get this done by the end of the year because I'm trying to finish the February stitching part in February. So I'll be kind of coinciding with the way they released it in 2019, which if I do put that extra effort into getting the border done in November, December, I will get it done by the end of the year. This particular piece I'm making for my daughter, my oldest daughter. This looks like it's on a slant, but it's not crooked. It's just okay. My oldest daughter just turned 20. She's been dating the same boy for 2 years or more, over 2 years now. And so I imagine barring some sort of horrible disaster, they're going to get married. And so this was going to be my wedding gift. Because on the border, there's a beautiful butterfly border for this stitch along. I mean, for this stitch along. I said it right. There's a beautiful butterfly border. And at the top of the border has a place to put initials. And at the bottom of the border has a place to put the date. So I'm going to put her married initials and then the date, the year that she gets married. So I won't be able to completely finish this until I know when she's getting married, and she's not even engaged yet. But it could happen at any time. So I wanted to make sure I had it ready to go for when that time comes. So anyway, I have been I've been doing Stitch With Me for an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Carol, for commenting. I learned more about Australia today, so that was exciting. Nice having a discussion about. And yeah, I'll probably do this again next week. More likely on Tuesday than Monday, but I don't know. Who knows? I can't commit to anything. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.